let's speak about the meaning of your dreams. What does your dreams mean? Dream interpretation is a real area of interest. And so this morning, one of my clients sent me a message about a particular dream that she had, and she wanted to know what it means. And with her permission, I am sharing the dream with you, and then we are going to break it down one by one. And I want you to really listen to it in the sense of how can this video help you to grow, because that is my focus with everything that I do. So if that is something that you're interested in, be sure to subscribe to the channel, be sure to hit that all notifications, like the video, leave a comment, say hi. Where in the world are we connecting from? I'm in the beautiful Cape Town in South Africa, also referred to as the Mother City. It's a beautiful day. I'm Adrian Nelson, a life transformation coach, and today we're speaking about dream interpretation. So I'm first going to go through the dream, and then I'm going to break it down one by one. As I said, I am sharing this dream with the full and explicit permission of my client. All right? Here and there I might change something just a little bit, but that is obviously just to protect the privacy. So, let's call this lady Joanne, okay? Not anywhere close to her real name, so let's call her Joanne. So this morning Joanne called me and she said to me that she dreamt that she was at work. Now, first of all, I know that this person is not, Joanne is not so, I would say, overly fulfilled at a job as many people, often are. It's a more corporate sort of job. It's a very strict sort of job. And she is very interested in moving in a more sort of like, I suppose, esoteric, holistic wellness sort of focused direction. So she's taken a couple of courses with me, one-on-one tarot coaching, oracle card reading, psychic development, and a couple of regression hypnosis sessions with me. So I've been working with this person for a while, all right? And so she was having this dream of being at work. And then her mom came to call her. And her mom had a candle with her, and she was taking her into a place that was almost like a forest, almost sort of sense, okay? And then the next thing she experienced, and her mom was behind her holding a candle. So the next thing that Joanne experienced is that it was sort of like something was grabbing her, but was grabbing her onto a night dress. So in a sense, remember she was having this dream. So she was, in a sense, I believe, having a lucid dream. I have to follow up with her on that. In case you don't know what a lucid dream is, it is a dream where you're having a dream and you're aware of the fact that you were dreaming. Okay? And it sounds like this was definitely what was happening with her. So she knew that she was dreaming. She knew that she was at work. Her mom was there. Her mom was holding a candle. She was sort of like, pulled into this forest. Didn't really have so much of a choice, really. And then she felt that something was grabbing her onto her night dress, like a pajamas, basically. And it kind of felt like, she said it felt like it was being pulled up and drawn up like that. But of course, there was nobody there, but she kept on being pulled into this forest. And, it became almost sort of like she was losing her footing, and she was almost like floating, but not in a very, not in a very kind sort of way. And then she became very hysterical. And she was sure that her mom was still there, and she said, she's kind of, she said to herself that it's okay, just take me where you need to take me, that sort of thing, okay? I can't remember, I do believe that this client's mom is still alive. I know that her dad is. I do believe that her mom is still alive. In actual fact, we never really spoke about that, which is interesting because that's normally something that comes up in sessions. Anyways, so then she came across these two fires, and then she went past the fires and further into the forest, and she kind of got to a building where a man was sitting in what seemed to be like a big lounge type of thing, and there was like a woman and a child, and it's sort of like there were glass walls between her and these people, even though they were in the same sort of building. And then they all kind of grabbed some shovels and things, and they really wanted to come and like physically attack her with these things. And as they were approaching, it's as if this glass kept on holding them back, like they couldn't get past this glass. And she was still pretty scared at this particular point in time. And it was a detailed message. She said it was very, very scary, even though the glass was holding it back, because obviously you think, what if the glass breaks and all of that sort of thing. I mean, you can probably place yourself in that position. And then on the right side, a bunch of people were approaching, and these people also had like some shovels and other very sort of gardening, like big gardening equipment that they wanted to attack her with, and they were quite vicious as well. And every time they got close by, it's like something blocked her. She didn't quite know what it was. And then now this particular client has been wanting to connect with her spirit guides for a while. And the thing to remember is that we are always connected to our spirit guides, our guardians, and our angels. We all have a holy guardian angel that has been assigned to us before we were actually brought into being. And a lot of times it's just very difficult for us to hear our guardian angels or or our guides, or to understand that they are communicating to you, because a lot of times we have this idea that it has to be this very sort of convoluted, beautiful wings and gold and silver and whatever celestial music playing sort of experience. But remember, you can only perceive to the level that you are ready. All right. Sorry, slaving a bit of a flu, my apologies. So then she said she got into the dream, and she's like, oh, that's what you want me to see, that you want to protect me. So then she realized that, somehow the guardian angels, the guides, the guardians that she was trying to connect to in the spiritual realm, somehow they were sending a message, so she realized that. And she was saying that for the past 2 weeks, she has been walking around with the idea, which was quite a depressing, debilitating sort of idea, that, that she's not connected to her angels, her guides, and her guardians, that she can't hear them. When she speaks, they don't answer, that sort of thing. And the moment she got that, everything and everyone was suddenly just calm, And then these same sort of people that were trying to attack her now came to hug her, and she was crying. And then, she was sort of like back in this forest home. So I assume that at some point she must have left it. And also something that this beautiful person has always had is that she would get a sense about maybe 2 to 3 weeks before somebody passes. She will get a funky sense around it, like she wouldn't really be able to pinpoint it that directly, but she knows that something is going to happen, and hence the reason we got more into psychic development. All right, so let's just break this down for you. And the first thing that I'm going to say to you is that when it comes to dream interpretation, it is always about what things mean to you specifically. So let's just leave this for a moment. I'm going to speak about this in a moment, but let's just use a completely different example. All right. So let's imagine that you dreamt about a snake. Now, different people are going to have different sort of feelings and opinions around a snake. To some people, it's not going to be so bad. To other people, it's going to be horrific. To others, it's going to be terrible. Some's going to be like, oh, well, what's the deal? If you, for example, let's say you've been very much into maybe sort of like Eastern philosophy, Kundalini, yoga, maybe breath work, anything like that, modern day esoterics and things like that, maybe even the chakras, the energy systems in the body, then you might see that snake as a Kundalini awakening. So to you, it will be a very, very positive thing, If you maybe speak to someone that is, say, maybe more sort of Christian inclined, they might see the snake as a bad viper, as the initiation of something really bad and something really, really negative. So different people will give you different interpretations of the same thing. Me these days, when I think of a snake, I don't really have that much of a problem with them anymore. I will find you in my house. I will try to get you in a box. I will, release you out in nature, unless you become vicious, But I mean, just a couple of years ago, I grew up on the country, and we used to have these massive snakes. And, they could be very, very scary. I mean, I stepped on snakes and things a couple of times in my life. And so back then, I would see it as this treacherous, horrible thing, and I probably want to kill it. Okay? So just to know that when you go to different people, asking them to interpret your dream, those different people are going to give you different interpretations based on their level of understanding, and even how the ego and things can come into play. Because if somebody is, say, maybe very new to, let's say, maybe channeling or spiritual work or stuff like that, and everybody's like, oh my goodness, you're so great at this, their ego might make them want them to give you some sort of plausible explanation, you know. So the approach that I would normally take to dream interpretation, which I always have, but since I became a full-time hypnotherapist, I've really began to zoom in on it even so much more. For me, it will always be like, okay, what does it mean to you? What does a snake mean to you? How do you feel about it? Because the thing to remember is that our brain is always communicating to us. And your brain is going to communicate to you in a way that is going to be, I can almost say, plausible to you. It's going to be sort of like, you know, bespoke in a way that is going to be, you know, suited to you. All right? That's how the brain's going to operate. And so you might say that, well, if you're taking a more sort of like spiritual approach, you know, and we talk about the brain now, isn't that a more scientific approach? I suppose yes and no. Because by sort of, you know, putting things in this category on this kind of box, you sort of like exclude others, because the whole thing is just one big positive conglomerate that works together, or one flowing sort of ecosystem, so to speak, spiritual ecosystem, you know. And when I speak about your brain, I speak about your entire mind. So I speak about your entire nervous system, okay? And it's very, very interesting because, you know, as I said, I am a hypnotherapist. I studied hypnotherapy quite extensively, NLP quite extensively, epigenetics really extensively. And at the moment, I am studying neuroscience. And oh my goodness, it's so amazing. Like just the way the body speaks to us, you know, it's very, very incredible. And so the first question that I would always ask people is, how did you feel about the dream? How did you feel about things? You know, what do you think this is trying to tell you? And so I take very much an approach almost like you are in a hypnosis session where you're asking questions to the subconscious mind. And this is something that you can do as well. Even if something is boggling your mind, take 3 deep breaths into your nose, out through your mouth, 3 deep calming breaths. And you focus on that breathing. And if you do, you are being drawn into the present moment, into the here and the now, where your power lies. Because when we focus on our breathing, you can't focus on anything else. So it's a wonderful way of bringing yourself to the present or grounding yourself, you know. And so if you're ever in a space in life where you're feeling overwhelmed or anything like that, you can actually do that all on your own and nobody even needs to know about it. It's like this interesting thing that I was reminded of the other day, that monks are typically always doing some form of breath work. You're just not aware of it. Okay, so you can do the same thing and you can keep on benefiting from that. I also want to let you know that there are going to be follow-ups to this video. There's going to be one for specifically on how to communicate with your guides, with your angels, you know, how to connect with them, how to get a communication. There's also going to be one for the power of now, you know, everything is in the present moment. Because just to slightly deviate from the point, for me, the thing is, you know, we always have this thing of like, let's say you can have a breakthrough in 6 months. So if you can have the breakthrough in 6 months, why can't you have it now? You know what I'm saying? It's all about a mindset. But then to get back to this dream, so I want to let you know that I have been speaking to, you know, to Joanne a little bit back and forth. So this is some of the interpretation that she got from the dream. All right. So first of all, it was a weird dream. It freaked her out. All right. Now remember, for the past 2 weeks, she has been feeling freaked out. She has been feeling overwhelmed. She's been feeling like she's not doing good enough, you know, that she should be able to have a clearer communication with her guides by now. And this is the interesting thing. The harder we try, the less successful we typically are. And the less you try, the more it just happens, you know. And I mean, I always say to my students with psychic development that you are not learning to do something new. You are simply learning to do something that's normal and natural to you. You may have just forgotten a little bit that you are doing it, or you might actually be doing it very, very actively already. You are just simply not aware of it. Okay? So, you know, so of course she was a little freaked out. And her mom being there with a candle made her feel more safe. So that was really, really cool, because, of course, as human beings, and again, if you go into epigenetics, which is so cool because we look at people being genetic copies of other people, which is literally what we are. And so a lot of the ideas that we have and a lot of the debilitating beliefs that we have, we are actually born with those. And then, as we would say, from the time of conception till the time that you're about 6.5, 7 years old, it forms your personality. We are beings of multiple possibility, and dependent on what it is that's being activated inside of us, that is going to determine the sort of experience in life that we have. Okay. And that is why, for example, when you look at things like ancestral lineages and you look at maybe past life regression, you might experience yourself as your grandfather, because when you think about it, you come from that lineage. Okay. So this person was dreaming that she was at work, and as I said, that she's not hyper crazy about the work, hasn't been for a while, so it's already sort of starting in a space that doesn't feel that comfortable. Okay. And I do know that Joanne is feeling sort of like very attacked sometimes at the work, even targeted maybe sometimes. She's got a very beautiful heart, but in a more sort of corporate environment that is very, it can be very, very sort of chop sometimes. It can be very difficult to have a gentle heart in a space like that. And that is something that I help people with quite a lot, making that transition from, the sort of more greed-driven, jobs in the world to a more soul-fulfilling experience, which I can say I am so divinely blessed and honored to be able to have in my life. Okay. So, and then so she went into this forest, and I was asking, well, how did the forest feel? And I know that she really, really likes the forest. She likes nature. She loves nature. The trees are always talking to her, but, this forest didn't feel that amazing. It felt a little treacherous. And, something grabbed her onto a night dress, which is obviously very, very scary because, if you can imagine yourself into the space, you are in your bed, you're having the experience of being pulled up from your bed, dragged into the forest, quite sort of unceremoniously. You don't know what's going to happen to you. It's a really, really scary thing. I think especially for a woman, it's a really, really scary thing because there's a number of really, really terrible things that can happen to you. A number of really, really horrible things, and you don't have any control over it. So, of course, she became hysterical, but her mom was still there. Behind her with the candle, letting her know that everything is not sort of knowing, but that calming presence that was there. All right, which is really, really cool. And then, she said she came across these two fires. So if you think about it, candle and then bigger fire, so maybe even bigger protection when you think about it. All right. And so she moved past these fires into this building, and there was there's this man and then this woman and this child sort of like sitting in this lounge-like sort of area. And they seemed very nice, they seemed very kind, and all of a sudden they were very attacking. They had shovels, but they couldn't get to it. The glass was still there keeping us safe. So if you look at it, you can see how Joanne was led from a space that didn't feel so good. Her mom was there with a candle, and just before it got even, it got more scary, and before it got even more scary than that, there were two bigger flames to let her know that she was being held safe. Okay. And then as these beings, these people tried to attack her, there was this glass that they couldn't get to her. But of course she was scared, because what if the glass breaks, and what if they can get through? And of course, as human beings, we have those fears. What if, with my health and my finances and all those type of things, what if I can't get to that next level? What if I can't get it figured out? What if I can't get it in time? Those are very, very normal human emotions to have. And a lot of times we are unaware of the fact that we are actually being protected. And then, we seem like we safeguarded from this thing, and then, oh my goodness, something even bigger, like a bigger threat comes from the other side. And then again, there seems to be a glass wall that's up there is keeping you safe. And so the message that you got is like, oh, my guides are with me. Now, Joanne is facing some personal challenges in her own life, some challenges with health, some challenges with finances. So those are things that were very much on her mind already. Okay, so this is a mind giving a reassurance that you are fine, you are all right, you are not alone. I am with you. The universe is with you. Now, I can't remember the cards that she drew because she did this beautiful oracle course with me. And I used the Dreamweaver's oracles for it, which is an amazing deck of cards. If you are interested, I am restarting this course again on July the 3rd, 2024. It's an 11 weeks course. It's like 19 and a half hours, 20-minute videos sent to you every day, Monday to Friday, over 11 weeks. It's 55 lessons. Starts with a beautiful guided session, ends with a guided session, like a meditation session. Very, very proud of it. So she took this with me, but you got these cards, and these cards are really indicative of that that you are ready to grow, that you are ready to expand. That I remember the last one she got was like a grid became a pearl. So the person that didn't know what to do and didn't know where to go is now ready to go and is now ready to shine, and you kind of have upgraded in value by realizing your own worth so much more, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so in that moment she had the realization, oh, this glass is representing my guides, my angels. You are here to protect me. You are here to keep me safe, And of course, then she immediately started to feel really, really great because she knew that she wasn't alone, all right? And then all of a sudden, everybody came to hug her. Everybody was calm. Everybody was kind. Everybody was loving. She went sort of like back through the forest, went back home. So what I also got from here is that a lot of times the things we fear in life, you don't have to fear it so much. It's just, here to help you and to guide you to a next level. And like any human being on this planet, obviously, I've got fears and concerns and all those type of things as well. But I always say that fear can either hold you back or it can positively propel you forward. Okay? Sorry. And of course, Joanne is obviously already very, very psychically inclined because, as I said earlier on, about 2 to 3 weeks before somebody passes or she gets very, very bad news, she would kind of get a feeling around it. So a very good question to ask, a very good question. And even myself, having been born so highly intuitive, so highly, empathetic, that I will get all these feelings and emotions and all this overwhelm, and I'll be like, oh my goodness, only to often realize afterwards that that was actually not my energy, it was actually somebody else's energy. So a good question to ask yourself always is this my energy that I'm feeling right now, or might it possibly be someone else's? Because energy is flowing around all the time. Okay, and if you are close to someone, or for me, even if they're just somehow in my vicinity, then I will get a sense of maybe something going wrong, and a lot of times I would think that it was me. So the question, is this my energy or someone else's that I just stepped into, is a very valid question to ask. Okay, let me just see quickly. And she said that she was thinking afterwards, after waking up, that she always wanted the guides to communicate, with her. But here's the thing, whilst we go around and thinking they're not communicating, they're not communicating, they're not communicating, they could be communicating to you. While technically speaking, our soul family is always talking to us. Life is always speaking to you. The question is, are you able to hear? Are you able to listen? And I also remember that she said that it kind of started to seem like everything was happening on a television screen, like an LCD screen, and the LCD would go funny. Like, so every time when she was attacked, the LCD would go funny, almost like blurry sort of thing, after the glass thing. So it's almost like it didn't happen or it wasn't real. She was sort of like experiencing it, but also sort of viewing it at the same time. All right, so it's like putting the distance between the two. My suggestion would be that if you want to call upon your guides and your guardians and your angels, maybe, a couple of angels that you can start with. Let me give you 4. All right. So Archangel Gabriel, this is the beautiful angel about intuition. And if you maybe, you're doubting your own mind and you're not sure if you can trust your intuition, because remember, everybody has intuition. Intuition is as normal as your heartbeat. Everybody's got it. All right, because remember, we're connected to everything. We're just not always so acutely aware of it, but that doesn't change the fact that we are connected to everything, and that it only makes logical sense that that the universe and your spirits and your guides and your angels want to help you, because we are part of each other. We're not separate from each other. All right. Remember that, like when you look at me, Adrian Nelson, this is not who I am. I live inside of this body. All right. And obviously, for a very long time, I used to believe that this is me. But this is just an expression of me. Okay? The part of me that is truly me, that is living within me, is always aware of the fact that, that this is just a temple and that I'm so much more. And so are you, obviously. Okay, so Archangel Gabriel can really help you with that, and especially if you're having some challenges, you're in a space where you're feeling sad and you're feeling overwhelmed, and you are scared. You might feel very threatened. Then you can call upon Archangel Gabriel to help you and to support you. And I can tell you for a fact, I have called upon the angels before, and I'll be like, I got myself into a sticky spot. Can you really please help me to get out of the spot? Nobody needs to be disadvantaged or hurt or anything like that, but can you help me? The solution will always appear in the most magical way. And I personally believe that when you come from peace, that you will always experience peace. Okay? And if you don't, you might want to ask, what is this situation trying to tell me? Call upon Archangel Gabriel to help you with that. And, then be open to communication. And that could be that you get a clear sense, depending on the maybe psychic senses that are strongest for you. You can get a clear sense. You pay attention to what happens. Everybody maybe speaks about the same thing, or you come across an article or like a video or a documentary or a book. I normally get books, but the universe will speak to you in the way that is that is more the most in flow with you. Because remember, when the universe speaks to you, when your angels, your guides, and your guardians, and all of them are speaking to you, it is you speaking to you. Your higher self is you. All right. You may have heard the story before, but it's always so amazing. My incredible, amazing best friend, she gave me this exercise to do, and she said, I want you to write a letter to your future self. And I said, okay, I did it. And then a couple of days later, I was in a very good space again. This was sort of like in the middle of the pandemic, so it took a couple of days to get in a good space. And she said, now I want your future self to write a letter back to your current self. And I have got this collective consciousness that I've always been, basically continual sort of like communication with. It's something similar to what Esther Hicks has, that they call like the teachings of Abraham. Mine called himself Smile. Okay? So I was like, it's very nice that you are here, and I mean, I've had Smile all my life. We've always been in communication. Sorry. And I said, but I'm waiting for a letter from my future self. And they're like, who do you think we are? So that was actually really, really amazing. So for intuitive clarity, if you are feeling afraid, if you're feeling uncertain, you're feeling unsure, you'd like to grow your psychic ability, and maybe if you're open to it, I've got quite a couple of courses online. You can check it out in the description. Or maybe you're open to learn with someone else or in a different way, or you want, I'm very sort of like old school in many ways. I like to study things in person, so not so much online. And you will even see, like, if you take my online coaches, it's coaching. It's pretty much like, I take the approach like I'm standing in front of a class and I'm just speaking to a class. Another angel you can call upon is Archangel Michael. So if you maybe feel that you might have negative attachments on you, negative energy on you, again, if you're feeling scared, unsure, uncertain, you feel a heaviness, maybe you believe there's a karmic sort of fluke on you, you might have taken a vow in a previous lifetime that is not serving you positively, you're having difficulty moving through a space, from a space, with someone, anything like that that is so sort of like funky in not a pleasant way, call upon Archangel Michael. All right. Archangel Gabriel comes with a beautiful golden light. Archangel Michael comes with a beautiful blue light, and he can cut off all those negative energy ties. Now, when we let go, we are always ready to receive more. And in that sense, you can call an Archangel Raphael, Raphael, Archangel Raphael, this beautiful green healing light healing of the heart, healing of the body, healing of the energy. So I always recommend, calling upon guidance from Archangel Gabriel, calling upon Archangel Michael for release and for clearing, calling upon Archangel Raphael with his beautiful green color for healing, for beautiful positive forward progression, to help to prevent you from falling back into the previous pattern while you may be still healing from the previous pattern. And also Archangel Ariel, Ariel. Now people normally have different colors for Ariel. Some have brown, some have pink. I quite like the pink, kind of like the pink and the brown together. And Ariel is really great for physical manifestation in our experience of life, materialistic manifestation. And please don't fall for the idea that as an enlightened being, as a spiritual being, as a holistic practitioner, whatever it may be, that you shouldn't want things. Because this is the planet of creation. You are a human being having a human experience on planet Earth. So allow yourself to be open to experience this life. And a wonderful way in which you can work with your dreams, because in your dream state, there's not always this resistance of the conscious mind. And I'm telling you, if you work in your dream state, you can make such positive progress in your life. You can start getting such clarity in your life. So what I would recommend is keeping a dream journal. So what you do is you keep a journal next to your bed, and it is believed that the amazing inventor Nikola Tesla used to do this, and that all the information was downloaded to his mind, to his sort of like his consciousness while he was sleeping, and he wake up in the morning and he'll just write them down. And it really works so powerfully. It's really powerful for a breakthrough if you are feeling stuck. So you have a journal next to your bed and a pen or a pencil in my case, and you are willing to just get whatever. And when you wake up, whatever comes to you first, you write down. Now, initially, everything may seem, rather inconsequential. Nothing's got anything to do with anything. But I'm going to encourage you to write down in your journal, what is coming up? How do you feel? How do you feel today versus yesterday? That sort of thing. And soon before long, we often get that it starts to form a beautiful, beautiful story. So instead of going to someone else to interpret your dream, the whole thing begins to make sense to you. All right? You can ask yourself, okay, so last night I dreamt about cupcakes. How do I feel about cupcakes? What kind of cupcakes were they? Maybe you say, I really love cupcakes, but the cupcakes had blue frosting, and I don't really like blue frosting for whatever reason. Okay, what was the reason for that? So be open to asking questions and let the answers come to you in your dream state. It's also a very good idea when you go to bed at night, to maybe set an intention and to, it doesn't have to be a whole big thing, but it can if you wanna, whatever feels right to you, but to say, I am willing to receive clear guidance in my dream state that's for my highest good, that's going to help me and support me to move forward in life. Okay? And then just see what comes up. And, whether you remember it all or you just remember some, or it's foggy, or it's just a feeling, or whatever it is, just write it down. Okay? A pattern will start to emerge really, really soon. And it's a very powerful way of gaining a deep understanding within yourself. Something else that's really, really cool is if you maybe go on like YouTube, there's lots of different options available for binaural tones, that you can listen to during your sleep state, and you can look up all the different hertz, all the different vibrations, what they do, and you can play it very, very softly. Like you don't even need to be able to hear it, because our mind can hear a lot more profoundly than what we actually realize. Okay? So be open to the dream state. See what it says to you. What does everything in the dream mean to you? So before you go to Google, before you go to YouTube, before you go to a book, what are you getting? Okay? Because the moment let's say you get a dream about, I don't know what, but like somebody says to you, oh my goodness, that means you're going to have a fight with someone. You're going to be expecting to have that fight. And because you're going to be expecting to have that fight, there is going to be in your sort of subliminal communication to the world. So because you believe that you're going to have a fight, subconsciously you're going to look for someone to have a fight with. And that really goes for everything. Somebody says, oh, it means that the next month is going to be amazing for you. Your mind is going to go in search of opportunities that is going to confirm that belief. All right? So I'm going to say to you, always check in with your feelings first. What does it mean to you? Unpack it bit by bit. You know, what does this mean to me? What does that mean to me? What does the candle mean to me? What color was the candle? What did it look like? How did I feel when I looked at it? You know, how did I feel about the two flames that I came across? How did I feel, you know, when I was terrified, I realized I was going to be attacked, but then there was the glass. Were you happy that the glass was there? When you were happy with the glass being there? Were you scared, what if the glass breaks? You know, and so forth and so forth and so forth. Okay? And soon before long, I promise you, you will get such clarity in your life. Working with your dream state is such a powerful way because your mind can communicate with you at a time when your conscious mind isn't just going like, oh, this is just nonsense, you know, sounding like Bugs Bunny type of thing. All right. So I welcome your comments. I welcome you giving your interpretation of this dream, of what it may be. And be sure to subscribe to the channel. Looking forward to your comments, your like, your subscribes. And be sure to watch out for the next two videos that follow after this as well. From my heart, namaste, love and light. See you next time.